When I was 11 years old, I used to love TV. Back then, there was no Netflix or Showmax. It was these things we used to call TV boxes. It was about this big, and it could double up as any other piece of furniture in the living room. Fridays were movie nights in my house, a much anticipated bonding time for me and my family. ETV, which is this TV network in South Africa, used to air these movies at around 8 p.m. till late. One of these Fridays, I remember the movie that was on was The Matrix. Don't ask me why my mom allowed me to watch it, and I remember vividly that there were these computer brains, now what we call AI, and they'd built these robots that were meant to help people. But they went completely against their programming, and they enslaved us. I remember thinking, wait, what? So I turned to my mom and I said, Mom, should we switch off the TV? Are the microwaves in the house going to kidnap us in our sleep because we made popcorn? Is technology safe? Although my mom usually had all the answers, she had none this time. But she did reassure me that we're not going to be kidnapped by the microwave in our sleep. So just like any 11-year-old, I was not satisfied. So I took all these questions, I went to school, and I went to the place where they definitely had all the answers. So my technology teacher is busy doing his lesson, and I raise my hand and I say, Sir, do machines have brains? Are they going to be smarter than us? Will they enslave us? Can microwaves kidnap us? His response, very simple. Focus on school. But I was not satisfied. So, you see, these questions lit up a spark that never really went away. They would form the foundations of why I got into STEM in the first place. Partly to understand how the universe works, but most importantly to make sure we are never put in a position where we're kidnapped by microwaves. My name is Phenyo Tshwantso. I'm a scientist, an engineer, and I'm a techno-almost optimist. And I'm passionate about understanding how we can build technology that serves society responsibly. In my work here at the Academy, I support and inspire the next generation of STEM professionals to build solutions for and with their communities. It turns out, and fast forward 20 years, that these questions that I was asking as a young person were not small questions. At the heart of these questions are bigger questions like, can we design technology that doesn't harm anyone? Can we balance innovation and ethics? And this tension between ethics and innovation is not a unique problem to me or my younger self. Throughout history, and even today, there's technology that promises great progress, but comes with negative consequences. Let's give an example. By show of hands, how many of us have a phone? You can put your hand down. Understandably, a lot of us. But let me pose this to you. How many of us, raise your hand, how many of us use this phone to connect to loved ones, a friend, a family member, using the phone? Keep your hand up if you also have used this phone in case of an emergency to reach out for help. Very helpful. But keep your hand up if you've also been made fun of or been made to feel less than in a WhatsApp group or after you've posted something on social media. If you put your hand down, lift your hand up if you know somebody who's been a victim of cyberbullying at some point in their life. You can put your hand down. It's clear that even though these phones have great promise, they come at a great cost to us, culturally, to our well-being, and also to our security. So, why is it that it's so hard about building technology that is entirely good? For one, technology almost feels like magic. We have a problem in society, and then some guy somewhere thinks of the solution, and then poof, the technology is in our hands. But the reality is that technology isn't magic. Behind every piece of innovation, there are human decisions. There are human decisions, ambitions, and also values. Values about what technology we create, what problems we solve, who we include, and who we exclude. We are, after all, human beings before we are anything else. Before we are innovators, before we are scientists, before we are engineers. And it is for this reason that our phones become an extension of us. Our technology becomes an extension of us. They represent our brilliance and our limitations, our hopes and our biases. And because of this, the flaws that we have as innate in us as human beings inevitably seeps into the technology that we create. So, lastly, why is it that it's hard for us to build technology that is entirely good? It's because it almost feels like as human beings, we have this culture, right, for looking for the next groundbreaking innovation, for the next change, for the next update. And because of this culture, we inevitably create a culture that doesn't allow us to pause and reflect, even when we are creating or consuming technology. The result is that technological landscape that moves so fast that any other piece of us as a humanity has no time to catch up. By the time regulations, laws, and culture catch up, for one innovation, another pops up. So, in order for us to create technology that will positively impact society, we need a cultural shift. One that prioritizes responsibility and ethics over just sheer speed and change. So how do we do this? One, we need to be responsible, and then we need to be intentional. As a user, as a consumer and a creator of technology, you need to question the technology. Ask yourself, where does this technology come from? Where is it going? Who does it serve? Who does it impact? But also, two, we also need to advocate for responsible technology. As a user, put your money where your mouth is. Endorse, advocate for, support companies that are doing work around ethical consideration. And then two, we need to also, as creators, be intentional. We need to be intentional about in the ways in which we create. We need to be ethical, we need to be responsible. So if 11-year-old me came and asked me today, will the microwaves take over? I'd say to him two things. One, we are human beings before we are engineers, scientists, and innovators. But also two, technology will only take over once we surrender our agency. But we don't have to surrender. We can lead with intention and responsibility. And if we ever wake up in a world where microwaves haven't saved us, it will be because we chose for them to do so. You see, the future isn't this place we're all going to. It is a place that we're building together. And we can build it right. Thank you.